Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Excuse Me, I'm Speaking. Yeah, this is hosted by yours truly, the host that does the most, but y'all love it. It is me. It is she. She is Twinkle. Call me Twinkle. Call me Antoinette. As long as you call my name, that's all that matters to me. All right? Y'all, I already know. Let me just start by saying the pod is late this week, and we are going to blame Netflix. And it is like a legitimate reason to blame Netflix, okay? But before we even get into that and I go into all those details, let's just start off the show with a quick mood check. So, in case you hadn't noticed by the chipperness in my voice, I'm in a great mood today. I hope that you all are having a great day, great night, whenever you listen to this. Yeah, it is the springtime. The sun is coming out. I think the weather plays a big part on our mood as well, too. So thank God for sunny days. Now, go ahead and digging right into the question of the day. Now, this is a good one. I want y'all to learn a little bit about me, but I want to learn about you too. So, the question of the day is, what was your most embarrassing moment in grade school? Now, grade school, that can be elementary, middle, or high school. You know, anywhere from first grade to 12th grade, because it has the word grade behind it, all right? Yeah, so I can laugh about it now, but I'm pretty sure I cried about it then. But I'm going to take y'all all the way back to my 7th grade year. If you are a member of my family listening to this, you've probably heard this before, but it never gets old. So my most embarrassing moment was in 7th grade. So, of course, I was in middle school. I was new to this particular middle school because I was a military kid. So we moved out of town a lot. Like, we went between Kansas and Texas and California. And so we'd spend 2 years here, 2 years there, and go back and forth. So in 7th grade, we had moved back to Kansas, and we were in a new neighborhood. There was a lot of new construction going on. We didn't know anybody in the neighborhood at the time, so my parents just didn't trust that it was safe for me to walk home by myself or to get off the bus, and they just weren't comfortable with it. And it wasn't a bad neighborhood, but I understand, okay? Safety first. Now, I would have rather just sat at the school for hours and waited for them to pick me up. But instead, my parents thought that it was a good idea to have me attend daycare with my younger siblings who were 6 and 12 years younger than me. Now, mind you, when you are in the 7th grade, you are 12 years old. Now, there are many people out there that are familiar with the chain, the daycare chain called La Petite Academy. Okay, I'm not trying to shout them out, but it was a part of my life story, y'all. So, since we were new in town and my parents, they did not get off work until later, then they were like, we need somewhere for you to go. We don't have any family in the area. Oh, well, your younger sibling, she goes to La Petite Academy all day because she's 6 years old and you are 12 years old. So you're in middle school. So they thought it was an awesome idea to allow me to go to school, and then after school, the La Petite Academy bus would come and pick me up in front of my school to take me to be in their after-school care program for 2 hours until my parents got off work. Y'all, when I tell you this was the most embarrassing moment of my time in grade school, y'all, I was like, I couldn't tell my parents no. For one, La Petite Academy costs a lot of money. So if you have one kid attending there and then you have another kid just going after school care there, you're already paying good money for both of those things. So now let's fast forward to 3 o'clock comes, the school bell rings, and now we see all of the yellow public school buses lined up in front of the school. Now, mind you, one of those buses also went to my neighborhood that was nearby. But my parents didn't know anybody. They're skeptical. So they're like, you're not getting on that bus so somebody can snatch you up. So they decided I needed to wait for the Lapati Academy bus. Yeah, this bus pulled up behind all of the yellow school buses. This particular bus was a white van with dinosaurs all over it. Yeah, when I tell you I was cringing on the inside, oh my gosh. Yeah, all the school buses left, and I am still standing in the school doors looking out the window, and I'm looking around to make sure that nobody sees me run to jump on this Lapati Academy bus, because that was my ride. Yeah, it was horrible. I waited till everyone cleared out, ran, jumped on the bus. I'm like, yes, my name is Antoinette. You have the right person. They were like, oh, you're late. We expected you. I know. Just go. Just go. Then I had to sit on the bus as they went around to all of the local elementary schools to pick up the other kids, younger kids that had gotten out of school. So the next day at school, of course, somebody with a smart mouth was like, hey, did I see you get on that dinosaur bus yesterday after school? So, knowing me, I'm so clever. I wasn't about to be made fun of for the rest of the school year. So of course I was like, oh yeah, that's my job. That's my after school job. Yeah, that I do that part-time after school. And so they have to come and pick me up on it. And I go around and help them pick up the kids at the other schools. And I work at the after school program there. Yeah. Okay. It was a lie that was necessary. And I will never live that moment down. I think I just went there for a couple of months until I was finally able to convince my parents, look, I will call you every day the moment I get home from school and I get off the school bus, the regular school bus. And, we were able to figure something out. But yeah, that was my moment, my most embarrassing moment in grade school. Do not judge me, okay? I had very concerned parents, and it was definitely a moment of humility. But I would love to know you guys' stories, and I would love to be able to share. Don't be shy. How could it get any worse than that story? Anywho, yeah, please be sure to send me your most embarrassing moment in grade school. Send it to me in a DM or comment on one of my pictures on Instagram at SheIsTwinkle1. Yeah, I've been doing better posting, so I am active on there. So shoot me a message, all right? Okay. Now, as usual, I always have to do updates from the previous show. So I have a few updates this show before I get into the meat of the show. So the first update is about the Cash App CEO. Breaking news, the update for this week, and I did find this online on Instagram following the Shade Room. It says that authorities have reportedly made an arrest in the fatal stabbing of Cash App founder Bob Lee. According to Mission Local, the San Francisco Police Department arrested fellow tech executive Nima Momini, owner of a company called Expand IT. According to authorities, Lee and Momini were familiar with one another, and a confrontation took place between the two of them before Lee was stabbed multiple times with a knife. Ooh, that is not good. So if this alleged story is true and he has been arrested and brought to justice, then I'm sure that is great news for Bob Lee's family, and we will just keep a close eye on that. All right, you do the crime, you definitely got to do the time. Alrighty then. Now, moving on. Yeah, what we have all been waiting for. I have been talking about Love is Blind on Netflix for weeks now, and I gave y'all homework at the end of last week's show to be sure to watch the final episode this past Friday so we could see who actually tied the knot, and then the live reunion was Sunday. So let's just start at Friday, okay? I want to give y'all updates on who actually did end up getting married. So let me just start off by saying, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. All right. Now, who actually tied the knot? So the episode starts off with Chelsea and Kwame. Kwame was the one where his mom did not show up to the wedding, and he was going to have to wait to give her his last name. We had a whole discussion of this last week. Well, to my surprise, and I was actually very happy for Chelsea, she said yes, and Kwame said yes. So, round of applause for the married couple. Yes, they are still married today, 1 year later, so kudos to them. Now, moving on to the next couple, which is Paul and Micah. So, never really talked much about Paul and Micah on this pod, and that's just because they were extremely boring, and I don't think that they actually liked each other. But, of course, not to my surprise or anybody else's surprise, they did not tie the knot.
No!
Yes, so their story is a little interesting. Once they were at the altar, Micah was asked, do you take his hand in marriage? Whatever. Please say, I do. So instead of saying, I do, Micah decides, I'm going to flip the script. So she says, I would rather turn that question over to Paul to answer. I think that's what would be best for us. I would like for him to answer first.
Oh.
And we like, what?
Okay.
Like, what? Like, on my wedding day, if my husband would have been like, well, she needs to answer first, I would be like, why I need to answer first? Oh, okay, well, if you want me to answer first, that means you unsure of your answer, and then my answer about to be no, because you're not about to play me like that in front of all these people. But I digress, okay? Yeah, that did not happen. I just went too deep into character. But anyways, yeah. Paul said, I think that it would be best for both of us if I did not move forward with this, so I do not, and I think this is what's best for both of us. Yeah, Micah started putting on these like fake tears. I didn't believe none of that. She was like, you broke my heart. If y'all watch the show, Micah did not have feelings towards him at all. I believe their whole storyline was fake, and I don't want to waste any more time on it. Side note, her best friends were at the wedding in the audience, and they were like cracking up laughing. They said they wish they were drunker than they are now. And this is great. Her best friend said, this is exactly how I wanted it to turn out. Wow. What kind of friend is that? Anywho, yeah, Micah put on the tears. She was crying. I think she just thought of something sad, and that's what made her cry, because nobody can pay me to believe that she actually loved this man. Moving on. Yeah, the next couple. We did have the wedding of Tiffany and Brett, which they were just like the ideal couple on the show. Everybody was rooting for them. They were just the like perfect image of Black love, and it was just amazing to watch their story. So nobody was shocked. Like if they would have said, I do not, I would have been like, throw away the whole show. Like, why would you play with my feelings and emotions like this? But that is not what happened. Of course, they both made it to the altar and they said yes. The only hiccup in their day was that Brett was going off on camera when he was in his like groom suite, because they gave him his pants for the wedding and they were not tailored. They were loose. They were baggy. And people said that he was tripping. Like, why would he blow up over that? Y'all, he drove to the nearest tailor in the city an hour and a half before the wedding. And literally, she did his custom tailoring in 1 hour. And she had him fixed up all nice, and he was back in time for the wedding. Y'all, how much you think she got paid? Because I might need to take up sewing class, because you know, those last minute like changes, she had to get a pretty penny for that. So shout out to her. But I understand, like if my dress didn't fit right on my wedding day and it was like too big, you think I'm about to be happy about this? Like, I'm still say yes, but I want to feel good and look good saying yes. That's all I got to say. But yeah, I was very happy for them. They were just a bucket of tears, and they are still together to this day. So kudos to them. Round of applause. All right, last but certainly not least, we have the couple of second chances. We have Zach and Bliss. Now, if you remember, Zach did not choose Bliss first. He chose another girl that was a mean girl, and she treated him horribly on the show. But he was able to meet up with Bliss, and he told her he made a mistake, and he wanted to try things out with her. He did everything in his power not to make her feel like second best. If you watch the show, you can tell they were just meant for one another. And they made it to the altar. They both said, I do. And I literally started cheering in my bed, watching them as if I knew them personally. It was a beautiful moment, and I was just happy for them. So shout out to Bliss and Zach. Yeah, they did their first dance to the song I Hope You Dance, which was sentimental to them from both of their mothers, which was a big deal because Zach's mother is deceased, and then Bliss's mother was there, and she's crying, and like, yeah, it was a whole moment. I was so happy for them. Shout out to the last married couple. Round of applause. Now, the next update. Yeah, Netflix Love is Blind live reunion. This was supposed to occur on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. So, there were a lot of people like me that were just waiting. You had your snacks, you had your drinks, you had just everything waiting, anticipating this moment. I've never been so excited for a reunion, a reality TV show reunion in my life. I've watched the Flavor of Love reunions, and I Love New York. What other reunions are there? Oh, the Love and Hip Hop reunions. None of them was, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. None of them compared to the level of excitement I had for this Love is Blind reunion because it was live. Y'all know that usually it goes down at reunions, and people were so excited about this reunion being live because they can't edit anything out. Like if somebody says something crazy, then it's going to be shown on camera. The real deal is going to come out. All of the side eyes, all of that. We just felt like we were going to be in on all of the tea. Yeah. They made so many promos about it on social media. Everybody was hyped. It was like being compared to being the Super Bowl for women. Yeah, now Netflix, this was their second live event. Remember, their first live event was Chris Rock's stand-up comedy special that he recently did, The Selective Outrage. This one was supposed to be for the Love is Blind live reunion. Yeah, 7 o'clock hits. I turn on my Netflix, and it just loaded to 25%. So I'm like, what is wrong with our TV? I then tried to pull up Netflix on my phone. It said it couldn't find the title I was searching for. Okay. So now I keep reloading Netflix on my phone and my TV, and it is not working. And I am freaking out. So, of course, I go to Instagram, to the Love is Blind live Instagram page, and there it had up to 167,000 people on there that were complaining, saying their Netflix was not working. Yeah, in other words, we crashed the Netflix servers. Love is Blind was so big of a show this 4th season that even Chris Rock could not crash the servers. There were millions of people trying to watch this reunion all at the same time on one platform. Netflix is Netflix. If you watch the Super Bowl, you can watch it on several different channels. You can watch it on regular TV. You can watch it on apps. But Netflix is Netflix. That is the only place you can go to. So I don't know who lost their job today, but somebody did because they were not prepared. This should not have happened. Yeah, we waited 90 minutes for them to tell us that they're not going to be able to do it live. They could only do it live with the people that were there in person. They had a live audience, and that they would have to post it after they record it as soon as humanly possible. Yeah, when I tell you the outrage was insane. There was a hashtag, love is late, Netflix sucks, like Netflix crashed. I was in the chat and everybody was going off. There were celebrities in this chat like, hey, Netflix, what's going on? I saw eBay in the chat. MTV was in the chat. Maybelline makeup was in the chat. Bravo TV was in the chat. Yeah, Andy Cohen, he's one of like the big wigs at Bravo TV. He even did an interview and he said, Netflix is crazy. We would never do a live reunion for this reason right here. You will shut down the network. And because it's just room for too many errors. Somebody could say the wrong thing. It could go on forever, whatever. Andy, he wanted his 2 minutes to shine. So that's what he did. Yeah, the Cheesecake Factory was on this chat. It was outrageous how many people were tuned in and ready for this Love is Blind reunion. I really enjoyed some of the tweets that were made. I do not have a Twitter, but of course you can Google and figure out what people are saying because it was the number one trending topic on Google on Sunday night. Yeah, Kev on Stage, if you're familiar with him, he's a funny black comedian. He makes a tweet and says, but y'all can take that money on time at Netflix. So I'm agreeing with that because Netflix is not showing up with what they promised at 7:00. But Netflix is not a free program. People pay for this. And now you're not delivering on what you said you were going to deliver. Anywho, another thing I saw on here was that another tweet that says, Netflix getting roasted by Blockbuster and Redbox is not where I saw today going. Hashtag love is blind. The last tweet that I thought was hilarious was, has Netflix tried unplugging it and then plugging it back in again? Yeah, that is a common IT customer service joke. You know, when you call, something's wrong with your phone or your computer and they're like, well, did you unplug it and plug it back in? Yeah, Netflix definitely needed to unplug. They weren't ready. They weren't prepared. But shout out to them. That lets me know how much money and how many views they are making just off of Love is Blind alone. Once again, if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. It is definitely worth it. The millions of people that were trying to watch it last night shows you that the show is worth your time. All right? Okay. Yeah, and then just another really, really, really quick update. I mentioned several podcasts ago that I am an avid watcher of the Power series on Stars. Right now, Power Book 2 Ghost is playing, and I have a huge spoiler alert moment that I have to say because I got to talk to somebody about this. So why not talk to my people? Yeah, I cannot believe the OMG moment of this week. This past Friday, Lorenzo is no longer with us. Yes, he did not go on vacation. He did not flee the country. He should have. But Monet, his wife, set him up. And he is deceased. Yeah, how her kids are going to react to this, how this changes the trajectory of the show is the possibilities are endless. This writing was just amazing. And I cannot wait to continue watching. So if you are not caught up, you should definitely get caught up. And now you know a spoiler, but they really wanted to change the flow of the show. Yes, Lorenzo, the head of the family, he has been unalived. Yeah. So take from that what you will, and I would love to know your theories on what's going to happen next. I think the family is going to fall apart, especially when, imagine if that was you and you found out your dad got and it was because your mom set him up. What kind of family am I in? Yeah, that can be a crazy discussion, and I definitely need someone along with me for the ride to talk about that one. But I would love to see how this season unfolds. I will be coming back to you guys with more updates. Alrighty then. Okay. Now, getting into the meat of today's show. This was actually inspired by Love is Blind, of course. The last episode of Love is Blind, we see Brett and Tiffany preparing for their wedding. And so, of course, the groom walks out first and he stands up there and waits for the bride. But before the groom walked out, we saw Marshall, which Marshall was a friend of his that he made in the show. Marshall comes and he gives him encouraging words. He's there to tell him that he supports him. And although Marshall did not make it to the altar with Jackie, he was able to put his personal feelings aside and go there and still be in support of his friend. He actually was the one who told Brett, hey, I met Tiffany in the pods. I think you guys would have a great connection and you would hit it off well. You should really seriously, consider getting to know her and seeing where that will take you guys. And from there, that's what he did. And their relationship had blossomed into this beautiful marriage. But Marshall was the one who was like a true friend and saw that like, hey, this could be great for you. I want to put it out there on the table because I want what's best for you. And I think this is it. And it was no pressure. And even in the midst of his heartache, he was able to show up and be there for his friend. Yeah. So today, our meat of the show is friends. How many of us have them? Friends. Yeah. I'm talking about friends all day long, y'all. So, of course, a lot of us have different definitions of what we consider to be a friend. So y'all know me, the nerd in me. I had to refer to my good old friend, Merriam-Webster, aka the dictionary, because I be wanting to have my facts straight. But the dictionary definition of a friend is a person who has a strong liking for and trust in another. A person who is not an enemy. Which is very interesting because we hear of the term frenemy so often, in which that's kind of like an oxymoron, right? Like it doesn't make sense. These two things don't go together. You can't be a friend and an enemy at the same time. But anyways, back to the topic at hand, friend. So, of course, that is a short and sweet definition of friend, a person who has a strong liking for and trust in another. But the word that stuck out to me the most was trust. So I also continue to scour the internet on what different people's definition of a friend was. And some of the things that stood out to me was it says someone who you can rely on when you need it. They treat you with respect and being around them makes you feel good. They have your best interests at heart. You feel comfortable being yourself with them. You can trust them. So that word trust is coming up once again, that foundation of trust. I definitely think that has to be the foundation in any type of friendship. So I think it's really important because I think a lot of us nowadays, we confuse the terms friend and acquaintance. We're like, oh yeah, that's my friend such and such. That's my friend such and such. But are they really your friend? Now, mind you, I know that it is very rude in front of somebody to say, that's my acquaintance such and such. If somebody referred to me as their acquaintance right in front of them, I'd be like, dang, you don't have to be so literal. But an acquaintance is someone that you're acquainted with. Maybe you have a coworker that's an acquaintance. You don't mind having small talk with them here and there. They're not really a friend. If you're going through something, you're not going to call them and ask them for advice. They're not going to call you. You don't really depend on them for anything. You definitely don't really trust them. You're just acquainted with them. You think they're a good person and they have likable qualities, but you guys really haven't developed your relationship enough to actually call it a friendship. All right. So now, mind you, I think that a lot of people have different definitions of what a friend is, so I can only talk from my own personal experience. So, first of all, I had to ask myself, what kind of friend am I? Now, I stand on this 1000%, will not take it back. I am not a ride or die. Like, who wants to die? I think that is the stupidest thing in the world. Like, people are like, yeah, I'm ride or die. I'm ride or die. No. Okay. You can claim that. That is fine. I'm a great friend. I'm an amazing friend, but we ain't about to die. Okay. I am a ride and reason friend. Okay. Let me say that for y'all one more time. Ride and reason. Okay. You can be hype. You can be mad. Like, I will get on your bandwagon with you and I'm riding. Like, I want to hear like what you have to say. Like, I understand you. Like I want to try to understand you. I am feeling those same feelings you're feeling. I'm very empathetic as a person, period. So like, if you crying, like, I'm probably ready to cry too, if I haven't already started crying. If you're mad and you're angry or you're sad or you're disappointed, like, I'm probably going to feel that too because I'm empathetic. Now, if you're like, let's go and just like destroy the car or their entire house, I am like, whoa, okay. Let's not die, okay? Let's not crash and burn. I will ride with you, but let's reason, okay? Let's look at the logic in this situation. I know you're upset, but like, is this really going to make you feel good after the fact? Like, are you going to get caught? Is this going to cause more damage than if we were to just like talk about it and go get something to eat and like calm down, you know? Like, I want to talk some reasoning to you because I love you that much as a friend that I don't want you to make a horrible mistake. So please, let's not ride and die. I don't want to die. I want to reason with you and I want to calm you down so that we can live to make it to the next day, okay? You are precious. This friendship is precious. Let's make logical decisions, okay? You are in an emotional state, so you probably want to ride or die right now. Let's not die. Let's ride this thing out and have some reason in there and bring you back down to reality. And I'm still here for you, and we can hug and laugh and cry and whatever you need in this moment. Yeah, I'm definitely that type of friend. I don't want to make you feel crazy. I don't want to make you feel like judged, but we're going to have to like calm down and have a real conversation. All right. I think everybody needs that friend that is like, they're going to tell them the truth, but like, you're not going to like drive them into a brick wall because like, how do you have my best interests at heart? Now, I know different people have different personalities, so I'm definitely not knocking anybody. I just think there's different types of people out there. Yeah. So I just recently had this conversation with one of my forever friends. Yeah, shout out to Brashana. That's my bestie for life. If I ever wanted to rob a bank with anybody, which I would never, but I trust her to do it. Like, she has my back like 10 toes down. Like, no, you can interrogate her all day long. She's like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I love her, okay? But she is also the friend where I know that if I call her and I'm like, I'm mad, she's like, okay, what building are we burning down? And I'm like, whoa. That's when I pop back to reality because that's just the logical nature of who I am. And I'm like, okay, no, seriously, I need you to give me like some advice that's not going to put us in jail. And then she'll be like, okay, I understand. I'm willing to burn down the building with you, but here's another way of looking at it. So sometimes it's all a part of communication too. Some people are not bad people if they're ready to like ride or die, but let's use some logic in here at some point. Okay. Communicate to your friend what you need from them. So now, I had to really dig into it as far as like what life has taught me about friendship. Just being in my early 30s now, you know, you start having friends as early as like, I don't know. I feel like as early as you can like talk and move around, like when you're like little like toddlers and like you're laughing and playing with like a cousin of yours or somebody else in daycare, like that's developing a bond. That's developing a friendship. Now it becomes deeper in life once you start to understand like what trust is, what like real bonding is, what connection is. And so it's definitely not something easy to come about. I personally think that friendship is something that is very sacred. It's definitely something that's not to be taken lightly. And it is something that is necessary. So there was a point in my life, and I'd probably say somewhere during my college years, where I was like, I don't need friends. I don't want friends. I don't want anybody around me. I just can't trust people. Like, I have family. I don't need friends. I don't want nobody around me. But that's just simply like not true. That is the thoughts of someone that has been rightfully so like hurt, and they've been affected by maybe like former friendships. And so in dealing with this topic of friendship, like there's some like real truths that have to be like uncovered and revealed. I definitely don't think that the sins of one friend should eliminate the possibility of new friendships. I was at that point at one point in my life, and that, thank God, is no longer who I am today. I know that you have to open up your heart to new connections, new relationships, new friendships with people, but you just have to learn your lessons from former friendships. So what I have learned and what life has taught me about friendship is that, for one, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket. Meaning that you cannot be the type of person that, hey, I have this friend, and to me, this friend represents everything that I need in one friend. I need you to be like comforting. I need you to be nurturing. I need you to be reliable. I need you to be able to laugh with me and shop with me. I need you to be able to cry with me. I need you to be all of these things all wrapped up into one. That is not realistic. You cannot put all of these expectations on one person. So that is why it's good to have different types of friends. Maybe this is the friend that like you can talk to and you can cry with, and they can like really understand like your like deep feelings and emotions. Maybe this is the friend that you can go to and they can give you like really like sound advice, or they can give you like spiritual advice. They will pray with you. Not every friend's going to do that, but maybe that's what this friend is for. Maybe this is the friend over here that gets your mind off of your current reality. They want to make you laugh. They're always going to tell you to look at the glass half full. Like maybe they're the ones that are like, okay, I see that you have a lot going on in your mind right now, but like, I'm going to change the subject, and I know you so well that I know like this will like totally like change your mindset, and we will be talking about something totally different, just to give you a break from like whatever your current upset mood is. There's different types of friends for different things. These are the friends I go on vacation with. Oh, and these are the friends that I talk to when it comes to like my thoughts or feelings about like finances or business decisions. There's different friends and different strokes for every type of folk, okay? So I'm learning that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. To put all of those expectations on one person is unrealistic, and they're going to fail you because that's not realistic. Secondly, friendship is a two-way street. So if you feel like all you do is give, and you're an amazing friend, and you're giving your time, your effort, your emotions, and you get nothing in return, when it's your turn to tell a story, when it's your turn to have a moment, when it's your turn to tell about your successes, and you're like shut down, or it's downplayed, or they don't have time for it, that's not a friend. That's not a two-way street. It's one way because it benefits them one way, but it doesn't benefit you the other way. And that can be reversed as well. If you're just taking from someone, and you have to ask yourself, like, gosh, what have I did to like pour into their life, to be there for them? Like, they've done all these things for me, but have I reciprocated that in any type of way? Then you have to question, is this a friendship? They're being a friend to me, but am I being a friend to them? It has to be a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. Next, friendships are not perfect. Okay, let me repeat that. Friendships are not perfect. There is a thing called human error. You can mess up. The other person can mess up. That doesn't mean the relationship has to cease to exist. There's a thing called communication and realizing that there are ups and downs. And people go through things personally in life. So like maybe what you're needing from me as a friend, like I can't give to you right now because of my own personal things I'm going through. It's also allowing me that grace and knowing that I'm not perfect. And if you're my friend, I've been hopefully communicating with you, or you can communicate with me to see like what is going on in my life. And that gives you more clarity and understanding as to why I may not be showing up as this, like amazing friend right now. And then you give me that grace. And then maybe that's when like, you're like, as my friend, you're the one that's like, okay, I see that you're needing a little bit more support in this season of your life, whether it's just emotional support. I want to let you know that I'm here for you. I know you might not feel like talking, but I'm here for you. I know you're going through some things, so I am not going to pour any extra on you in this moment. Not because I think that like you're not a friend, but because I care about you enough to know that like you have a lot on your plate right now. So maybe my extra portion in helping is not going to help the situation. So it's communication. It's knowing there's ups and downs and people go through seasons. And all that comes with being honest and being clear with your friend, setting boundaries. Oh my gosh, I've talked about this a few podcasts ago. Boundaries are necessary in every relationship. I don't even have to dig into that. Yeah, if y'all want to know my detailed opinion of that, go back a few podcast episodes. Getting to the end of my list, friendship, the importance of friendship. What life has taught me is that friendship is rooted in love and overall respect. If I love you, I respect you. My intentions is never going to be to hurt you. Even if one of us makes a mistake, if our friendship is rooted in love and respect, then we can trust each other and we can communicate and we can get through this season. Even if we don't talk. Oh my gosh, friends do not have to talk every day. They don't have to talk every month. You don't even have to talk every quarter. Like if your bond is tight and secure, just because you have not talked to me in 7 days does not mean that I write you off of my friendship list. I love you. I respect you. I trust you. I support you. If you really need me, you know how to get in contact with me. Send me a message, whatever. But it's giving each other that grace in friendships. And there's no hidden motives. That was a major thing that like life has taught me. If somebody has like a reason or a hidden motive as to why they want to be your friend, because maybe like you hold this position at work, or like you're related to this person, or you're a part of this group or this club, or maybe you have this amount of money, or maybe you help them to, maybe you're above them in this area or beneath them in this area. If there is a motive as to why they're your friend, then they've sought you out for the absolute wrong reasons, and that is not a friend. I wholeheartedly believe that friendships are organic. I am an introvert at heart. I do not even go out seeking out friends. So when people become my friend, it's like, oh, that was like natural. That was organic. And that's how it should be. Because friendships is kind of like planting a seed in somebody's life and then seeing that seed blossom and grow into a like true bond, and that should be lasting. So, hey, that's what friends mean to me. Very, very, very last thing I believe life has taught me about friendship is that you have to be a friend in order to have a real friend. You have to be a friend in order to have a real friend. You have to be genuine. You have to be sincere. You have to care, love, support, respect, and honor that person and their feelings. And then be honest and real with them, but in love. You have to be all of those things to have those things. Because I feel like you receive what you attract. And so if you're not a great friend, if you're nothing more than acquaintance, if you have ulterior motives, that's what you're going to receive in return. once you are a real friend, you know what real friendship feels and looks like. And that's what you will accept in return. So, yeah, let me jump off my soapbox for today. Yeah, that meant like so much to me. I like reflecting over things in life, especially hard things that you've been through, such as friendships. Friendships are just another type of relationship. So those are just as hard as relationships. And so I think it's important to look back over life and the things you've been through, learn, grow from it, and share it with others. So, just to do some really quick wrap-ups, we're going to start with local/worldwide news. Yeah, whenever I say local news, it's like I just know that it's like not gonna be good. Like I wish I had some better news to tell y'all, so I'm gonna go through these pretty fast because I don't want to bring down the vibe of the show. But in local news that has become worldwide news, a teenager was recently shot and he is badly hurt and currently recovering in the hospital for approaching the wrong house. Now, I say teenager, but let me be specific. A black teenager, which I believe he is only like 16 or 17 years old. If you search this on Google, it's on Hollywood Unlocked, The Shade Room, like Facebook, Instagram, anywhere you can search right now. If you type in teenager shot for approaching the wrong house, the story will come up. And I am sad to say that this story derived from Liberty, Missouri, which actually is not very far from where I live. So God, pray for a covering around us all. But yes, a young teenager was reportedly going to go pick up his two younger siblings. And when he put in the GPS to go to the house, I believe it was an instance of him putting in like street rather than terrace. So it took him to a totally different location. He knocked on the door. It was the wrong house, and the white male, adult male that opened the door, then opened fire and shot him, and then proceeded to continue to shoot him because he was at the wrong house. Horrible. So, yes, he is now recovering in the hospital, and that same white male is at home sleeping soundly. Reports have shown that allegedly he went to a local police station. He told them what happened, that it was an error and it was a mistake, and they just let him go home freely. So yes, there are protesters that are gathering outside of his home, and there is a lot of noise around this situation. They are upset. People want justice. People are getting tired of things like this happening. So I definitely support that movement. We do need justice. And I just pray for the healing of this young kid, as well as his mental state as well, too. If that's not traumatizing, then I don't know what is. Gosh, we really need a change in this world. So, yes, I will keep you guys updated with that if there are any arrests made or anything further comes from that. Now, moving on out of the state of Missouri, let's move on over to New York City. So, this one is more shocking than anything. This is from the NYPD, so the New York Police Department, the city government. I have titled this, "Who Let the Dogs Out?" Yeah. So this was a story that I read from On Site, which is a media platform, and they have a page on Instagram. It says that the NYPD city government introduces new 400-pound robots to patrol the streets. Y'all don't have to rewind. Y'all heard that correctly. It says NYPD and Mayor Adams announced a fleet of 400-pound robotic dogs will start patrolling in Times Square this summer to help assist with stopping illegal activity. Oh my gosh, where in time is Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, that is crazy. So you mean to tell me if I lived in New York and I happen to be walking around Times Square this summer, there will be 400-pound robot dogs that are going to be just like patrolling the streets looking for illegal activity? Like, it's a robot. So, like, how do you know if something is illegal? That is the scariest thing to me. Yeah, I've never seen iRobot, but I saw some of the, like, previews for it, and it just seemed like the robots started taking over. Like, who is controlling these robots? I mean, it's hard enough to trust people, but, like, now we have robots. Like, can the robot, how do they patrol activity? Are they going to arrest them? Like, are they armed with weapons? Yeah. I need to know more about this story. And once I find out more, if there are updates, y'all already know, y'all be hearing it from me. Moving on to celebrity news. Yeah, so of course, something more lighthearted. Nick Cannon. Y'all know Nick Cannon, head of Wildin' Out. Nick Cannon has been around for forever. If you don't know him, then you would have to be living under a rock. Well, he knows a lot of people because he has been selling his wild oats for quite some time now. Everybody is trying to figure out, Nick, what is wrong with you? Why do you have 5 different people pregnant at the same time? And he's excited about it. He said he is building like his legacy. Alrighty then. Well, Nick Cannon was recently on an interview with Howard Stern, and Howard Stern was asking him if he knew the names of his children. Now, of course, that's not a crazy question. Like, if you have kids, of course you know your kids' names. But I only have 2, and sometimes I accidentally call one the other's name. Like, not because I don't know their names, just because I say their names all the time. So they're like, that's not my name. Okay, you know what I was talking about. Whatever. Now, Nick Cannon, he was challenged to name all of his kids, and he has 12 of them. Yeah, and he got through 11 of them, and he thought that he was done. He forgot his kid's name, which I believe it is easy to do when you have 12 of them, and they don't live in the same household, and they're spread out all over the world. But, so I thought that was a funny story. But the one that he did forget was Onyx, one of his sons. So shout out to Onyx. I'm sure your dad loves you. It's just, there's a lot of you. Anywho, moving on to my last news reporting and celebrity news. Let's talk about Friends, y'all. This one was dear to my heart. Gayle King. Y'all know that Gayle King is Oprah's BFF, her best friend. When Oprah was on the air, when she had her talk show, all the way to her having the magazine and then interviewing with people and having her own network, there are 2 names that I have consistently heard Oprah say, and that is Gayle King and that is Stedman. We know that Stedman is the guy that she's dated all these years, and Gayle King is her best friend. Y'all, when I tell y'all she supports Gayle like 1,000% wholeheartedly, she said, I'm going to mention my best friend's name every single chance I get. And yeah, I guess this has paid off. So Gayle is now the highest paid, allegedly, y'all can fact check this, but the highest paid at CNN. I saw this reported on Facebook earlier this week. There was an article that said Gayle King signs a $12 million contract with CNN for 1 hour of work a week. Oh my gosh, look at God. That is crazy. Y'all know that Gayle King, she's most recently famous for her interview with R. Kelly when he like had a moment on camera and he was like, y'all killing me with this. Y'all, that is Gayle King, the one that was interviewing him. Yes, apparently she has the $12 million contract signed with CNN. So shout out to Gayle and shout out to her good old friend Oprah that just has shouted her out for years. That is how we know she's existed. Y'all, when people are good friends to you, like, you just gotta love them. Like, I love it, okay? Shout out to also my friend cousin, Bennett. I brought up her name on here again, but I had to shout her out because, like, she gives me great feedback every week on this podcast, and I, like, definitely appreciate her so much, and I love her love and support, yeah. So, to wrap up today's episode, I'm going to wrap it up with a quote of the day, and this is from the fashion designer Coco Chanel. Yeah, it says, if you want to be original, be ready to be copied. Now, for those of y'all that didn't hear it in the back, I gotta say that one more time. This so closely connects to my life, okay? If you want to be original, be ready to be copied. Yeah, they say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And that ends today's show. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Excuse Me, I'm Speaking. As usual, please follow me on Instagram at SheIsTwinkle1. I would love to hear all you guys' feedback. I do read it and I do grow from it, and I appreciate it. Y'all, until next time, next week, I will see you guys then. Have a blessed week, and I love you all. Bye-bye.